All right, well, welcome everybody. Like I say, we're going to be recording this, so feel free to turn your camera off. And I am going to be your host on this 1 hour adventure into the exciting world of AI, generative AI in particular. And important to make that distinction. AI has been going on for a long time, but the last year has really seen generative AI take off. And that's ChatGPT, that's all these amazing tools that are now out there. So I'm Douglas, and I'm going to share my screen so I can give you all a little intro. And here we go. All right, so that is the website. And then here is the presentation. And I need to move the Zoom thing out of the way. There we go. Okay, so can you all see my screen right now? Give me a nod okay, great. So welcome everyone. I am going to be, like I say, as gentle on you as possible. And we're gonna have a lot of fun. So first of all, what is this? This is gonna be a session for how you can boost your creativity, efficiency, and business. As I like to think about, AI has the potential to really influence so many areas of our life. So we're going to do a deep dive. This could be good for entrepreneurs, content creators, AI curious. I think a lot of people are at different levels. Feel free to chime in the chat where you're calling in from and sort of what your level is. You know, what AI tools have you used? And so we are going to learn a little bit about how to boost all of these good things with these amazing new tools that we've got. So starting off, I will say that who am I first? I thought it'd be a good little intro. My name is Douglas Campbell. I've got 20 years of a lot of experience with different types of creative tools. I like to think of myself as a creative technologist. And some of my background is also starting an event series in Los Angeles, which I'm sure some of you are here because of from one of our newsletters. And it was kind of like a TED Talks meets Burning Man vibe for almost a decade. We did hundreds of events, thousands of presenters, tens of thousands of attendees. And we're still doing small dinner parties. We're doing it a little bit more low key after COVID. During COVID, I started a digital agency where we really handled the full customer journey, everything from logo to launch and beyond. So, helping people with their branding, their websites, their digital marketing. And it was about that this time last year where I started to get introduced to AI. And I've written two books. One, a normal book under my pseudonym Dougie Lux, who's a mischief maker, and the other book, which I wrote in collaboration with ChatGPT, and it was such a fascinating experience that I decided to really focus more on AI tools and starting to bring them back into some of my other businesses, such as the agency, and even focused on some of that content in Mindshare. So it's exciting. I'm going to talk a little bit more about my book in a second. And then just for fun, I will throw out that back around the dawn of Facebook, I launched a charity stunt, which was me and my friend going around the world in tuxedos for charity, and so that was super super fun. And we raised, like, I don't know, thousands of dollars, and we gave the entire we gave the entire amount to charity as we passed through. So okay, like I said, I wrote a book with AI. It was a digital nomad's guide to post-COVID remote workers. It did great on Amazon. It was the most amazing collaborative creative process. So I came up with personal stories. The AI came up with a lot of the structure, and we together we weaved this book, and it was just fascinating to watch. As the AI did a lot of the boring stuff, I did a lot of the creative stuff, and before I knew it, within 30 days, I had this on Amazon. Got great reviews. I even cloned my voice and did the audiobook, which was super fun to explore. So, getting into what we're going to cover today, now that I give myself a little bit of background, we're going to cover, first of all, ChatGPT is going to be a big part of today's session. We're going to talk about ChatGPT for content creation. That was something people wanted to talk about. Advanced ChatGPT tips and tricks for things such as outlines for presentations, courses, books. We're obviously going to touch on this very briefly. We could go a lot deeper, but this is going to be an overview. A new announcement, which some of you have possibly heard about, maybe mention in the chat, like give a yes if you've heard of GPTs. Different than ChatGPT. GPTs we're going to talk about a little bit. They're more like apps that are built on top of ChatGPT. So we're going to talk about what they are and why they're useful. And then an intro to make.com. We're going to wrap up on a little something different. And then, of course, there's going to be a fun sales pitch at the end. So don't feel like you need to stick around, but it's going to be fun. I got some cool tools and courses that y'all might be interested in as you think about wrapping up the year and going into 2024. All right, so on that note, let's go. We're going to launch first by going into ChatGPT. So, in fact, what we're going to start with, and I've got my notes here for the meeting, is talking about ChatGPT for content creation. In particular, first, we're going to talk about analysis of your tone. So there's a bunch of ways of analyzing a tone. Maybe some of you have done it. You could talk about, say, like, pose as a marketing expert, or pose as a psychotherapist, or pose as a New York journalist, whatever. You can also, and this is quite interesting, analyze your own text in some fascinating ways. So I'm going to show you, first of all, I do have a tool called the Tone Generator. And it is a cool way, and I can send you the link after this. It analyzes your tone and will generate a way for you to use it in chat. Another way just to do it really easily is to take a document, for example, that you've written. So I'm going to go to some of my writing, maybe my writing back in 2018 when I wrote, or 19, I guess, when I wrote this book. Where is it? So was it 17? Oh, here we go. Okay, so in my working documents, final documents, I have this PDF. And what I could do here is just take a chapter. So I have this chapter, and it doesn't even need to be the whole chapter. Let's just take a few pages of my writing sample. Okay, and so this is going to just be, that's enough. You could take if you wanted to, there's different ways of doing it. You could also, if you like, upload a PDF even, right, like this. My PDF's pretty long, so, and I don't need to do that. I can say, I want you to analyze the tone for this in the following text so that I can train future chats on it. Okay. And then I can just literally paste this in here, and let's see what it says. And I'm using ChatGPT 4. It's the paid version. And it's going to be a little bit better than the free version. Let's go to the bottom. So this is already starting to talk about something. This is going to analyze actually the tone, which is kind of fascinating. I'm going to say, I'm going to edit this. And this is this little pencil you can edit and say, analyzing the tone. Maybe I should put, in fact, ChatGPT is always changing. I want you to analyze the tone and writing style of the following text so that I can train future chats on it. All right, let's see about that. And then you go to the bottom. If you've edited your prompt, you can press save and submit. And so, great. So this is, again, describing it. What I'm looking for is like some bullet points. Great. So it's going to give me those. And that's what I was looking for. And as you see, sometimes you got to work with ChatGPT. I added the writing style, and it added this nice description. So why am I doing this? Well, say I want to write a blog post now about, I don't know, let's say I don't know, about the importance of quality content, digital marketing, quality content creation for your digital marketing. I can ask it now to write in this tone. So to train future chats on this style, focus on developing a tone that's reflective, honest, relatable. And we can even use this simple summary if we wanted. We could use this more advanced summary. And we can actually take these bullets if we wanted to and say, great. I'm going to select that. And now what I'm going to do, there's two ways to do this. And you could paste it in here. In a second, I'll show you that. You could also, if you want this to be the tone for all of your future chats, you can add this to something called custom instructions. And if you go down here, custom instructions, you can actually enable ChatGPT to always use this tone, which is really cool. And this is where you could put a little bit about you, such as if you're a web designer or whatever your background is, and then your posts are going to be related to your background and your tone. So you can play with that. I don't always like to do that because sometimes I forget that it's on. So in particular, I'm going to actually use something called square brackets where I can actually define my tone like this, which is literally just pasting in those bullet points that I have above. And now I'm going to say, do not start writing yet. Okay, so now check this out. Great. And so now it understands my tone. What I can do is say, write using tone, and this is now you'll see it's a little variable. Using tone, write me a 100-word LinkedIn post on the importance of digital marketing. And I'm going to say authentic here. Okay. And let's see what it does for me. Okay, so great. It's going to write me this little post. It's going to, I'd say, echo my tone of voice here, which is sounding quite a lot like me. I'm quite happy with that. So we're writing a LinkedIn post. We even got some hashtags here. And now I'm going to blow your mind a little bit. And I'm not sure if this is in the paid version only or if you could do it in free. I believe it's only in the paid version. I can now even say, great, create an image, maybe a rectangular image for that post. Right now in ChatGPT, as of a couple of weeks ago, it's called multimodal. We can actually create images right in ChatGPT. So this is really a fascinating thing to not even have to leave. We used to have to use different apps for this. So we talked about the tone, we talked about the summary, or actually a short LinkedIn post. You could also, if you'd like, copy a article in here. So say like I had, look at that. So that's a pretty cool image that you could include with this post for LinkedIn. You could also do something like create 3 related tweets for that same post with hashtags. Okay. Oops. With hashtags. All right. So while that's doing something, I wanted to just say that if you like this, there's so much more that you could do with tone, with content creation, with engagement, how to actually start scheduling these things. Um, I actually have more of a whole course related to this, and I just wanted to see if there was anything else. So obviously you can do this for any content platform that you're on. And I go into this in depth in a course that I have called AI for Entrepreneurs and Thought Leaders. And it goes through everything from setting your tone, creating a framework for your ideas, ideas for blogs and podcasts and social media, creating long form content, such as if you wanted to write a book as an entrepreneur, as well as ebooks and pitches and presentations. It also covers AI assisted imagery and stuff, and it's really really cool. So I'm not going to get too much into that. I can send you the link afterwards. But if you like the idea of creating content for your brand, for your whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a thought leader, whether you're a small brand or business, it's really fun. Okay, great. To stay on track, I'm going to get into another couple of things that are really interesting. And we had a few questions. I'm going to come back to the Zoom real quick. And where is that? Oh, I got to stop sharing my screen. And I'm going to talk about for a second course advanced ChatGPT content creation, but for a course. Okay. And so we've talked about how you can use it for content creation. We really just scratched the surface there. But if you want, we can talk about content creation for the outline for, like, say, a course. Okay. So what I wanted to do is just use an example. And if somebody, does anybody want to be my example for this little experiment of producing an outline for a course that they might want to teach? And if not, I've got some great ideas. But if anybody wants, just unmute yourself and hop on. Otherwise, I'm going to use my own self as an example. So
I can volunteer.
all right, Doc, great. So what we're going to be looking for, and I'm going to share my screen again, is here we go. And where is my screen? Here we go. So what we're going to look for is something along the lines of this. I am a blank who likes to teach blank. So this is going to be your who you are, your expertise, who likes to teach your target audience how they can blank. Oops, you get the idea how they can blank. So I am a somebody who likes to teach somebody how they can blank. Um, so let's go ahead, Dot. We might want to flesh this out, but let's start with that. Go.
Okay. Well, I am a storyteller who likes to teach educators and makers how they can generate creative ideas using science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
Generate creative ideas using science, art, and math.
Actually, STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
Great. Now, uh, let's give them a little bit of a problem. We got this is great. We got who you are, who you're teaching, what they want, what's maybe their issue that they're having that's getting in the way of having what they want.
The issue could be perhaps if you're not a very technical person, it feels like having a brick wall in front of you as the world becomes more technical.
Great. I love that. So we've got their problem and we've got their solution. So now what we could do is say, I'd love to create a maybe 6 module course to help guide them along the journey um, towards their solution. Um, each module can have up to 4 lessons. Let's just see what happens when we do this, okay? Just completely getting creative in just how we might research this. I was going to give a little bit of an intro. So while this is doing its thing, we can talk just briefly about other ways that you could use this. This could be an outline for, if you can see, this could be an outline for even a book, right? This could be the outline for a presentation. These modules could be slides. In fact, what we could do once this is done, we could say, why don't we, this could be the outline for a podcast, right? So let's see, let's just go ahead and do that because this is already in the form of almost, you could imagine this being chapters, right? Um, and Dot, I'm not going to get too into this because we've got so much, but you can see how fun that would be for you to get into and really look at how you could really dig into this and start to flesh it out. And then say you've got this down pat, you could do a few things. I could say, I'd love to introduce this course in a 1 hour podcast. Can you provide me with an outline for that podcast and include some real world examples? I'm getting a little bit fancy here, but let's see. Um, during let's just see if that's how that goes. All right. So this is going to start to give you something to work off of, right? That you can build on. And again, like a lot of what ChatGPT is great at is providing the first draft of these things. So this is pretty cool. It's given us an opportunity to do an intro, a quick overview of all the different modules, maybe a deep dive into a couple of the lessons, just as a way to get excitement, maybe your most exciting lessons, some practical examples and case studies, and then a little bit more of like, any questions that people have talked about, closing remarks. You could then flesh this out as you see in any way that you want. You could also create, this is great. I want to produce a series of daily, let's say, Instagram stories for this podcast. Please provide the content or the suggested story content as well as possible ideas for imagery or videos. All right. So let's see. I didn't actually say it was going to be 1 week, so I don't know how many it's going to give me. But as you can see, this is going to start to flesh out a whole campaign of creating your content and producing it in a variety of ways for your marketing of your course. Okay. You could even say, and I want to just make sure that I'm on time here. Yeah, great. So you could say, okay, like I think it's gonna probably do 7. Hopefully it just does a week. Otherwise, we're gonna press stop over here. And so if you haven't used ChatGPT 4, there's a, oh, it's going to keep on going. So I'm going to press stop. Sometimes if the AI runs away, you can, that's a great button to know right there. The other button to know, and I sort of went through it earlier, is you can attach things. You can attach documents if you want to parse a spreadsheet or like a PDF and get the info from it. You can also, at any point, it's a little bit hard to see, but this pencil goes back. And I'll just show you, because I wasn't clear maybe earlier, this pencil allows you to alter the prompt that created this response. And so I might have said I want to just do daily Instagram stories, or maybe 3, I could say a series of 3 Instagram stories for, actually, I'm going to say posts this time for this podcast. Please provide the suggested, we'll call it the suggested, what do you call it? Not the description, but the caption, as well as prompts. I'm going to get fancy here, as well as prompts for AI assisted imagery and relevant hashtags for each post. Okay. And you don't have to worry about being perfect with your grammar because it'll figure it out. So if you see now, it removed that other one. And it always likes to give a little intro, which is funny. But look at this. We're going to have, I think it's going to be pretty cool. We've got the caption, the hashtag, and an AI assisted imagery prompt. And it's got a few more hashtags, I guess, that it can help you choose from if you want. It's funny that it put some in the post, but then it included some down here. But that's kind of cool. It's better to have more than less. All right. And so the last thing I want to talk to you about in this one is let's right in line. And I'm going to show you how that pencil worked, by the way. It actually produces a branch. So now you can go back to that one that you edited and go back to the first one. And then it's so subtle. Not a lot of people know this, but then you can go to the second one. And so that second one was the one we want to play around with. And so let's go for this one. Tune into our STEAM-powered focused podcast and transform your teaching and learning experience. Explore innovative ideas, real-world applications, and collaborative projects. Learn, listen, and be inspired. All right, great. So I want to just take this. Let's see right in line how ChatGPT is going to work with creating this image. And how cool is it that you can completely stay within chat to do so many things. And it's the very early stages. Their interface is a little bit messy. I'm going to get into all these cool things in a second, but it's a little bit like not that organized. Sometimes you lose your chats, but I believe that it's trying to really create a whole new type of interface. And right now it's a little bit bulky, but in the future, we're going to do so much more with our voice. So, this may be something that you like, but at least it's something cool, way better than having a post with no image. So that is that. So that is like a real deep dive into kind of content creation, such for like courses and outlines. You can see how you could do quick outlines for books, quick outlines for courses. Why would you want to do that? Well, for some things, you want to validate your courses or validate your content before you do it. So what I mean by that is, say you're a course creator and you're going to put a ton of work into creating your course. Way better to put a framework down, put it on a landing page. And by the way, you could say, awesome, create the landing page content for my course. Okay. So obviously we rushed through a lot of this, but this is a way that you could so easily, once you've got that course really where you like it, right here, you've got the content. And then all that's missing is you create some images, you edit this content, and you've got a course creation page. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, personally, I've fallen for this trap before. Before you do all the content to teach the course, way better to create a landing page with this all this information on it, including all of the about you, the breakdown of the modules, the sort of description, the call to action. And before you do all this work, because it takes a lot to produce a course, before you do that all, see if people are going to buy it. Because if, I'm working actually with a course instructor right now who talks about the first 10 strategy. You can do this much, you can build that page. And then if you can't get 10 people to buy your course, that's a number she throws out, but whatever it is, say you've got a $500 course, say you need 10 of those to really justify the content creation, you get that buy-in from people first. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, I'm going to give myself another little shameless plug right here. I've got a whole course that's for course creators to help them get almost as like where we got to today, but with a lot more substance, and get you all the way to a landing page that can accept submissions, accept payments, and even create automations for people. And then the good news is, and this is, if you go, I'll send these links out afterwards, but this is the course. It helps you define all your toning, your program, and the landing page, lead magnets, automations for blogs, and how even to do a webinar like I'm doing today. So it's a really cool course. Ultimately, the idea is if you can create that page and get that buy-in from your first members, then it totally justifies them putting in the work to do the course, because actually recording it, whether you're doing live or whether you are doing it one-on-one, or whether you're doing it pre-recorded, or whether you're doing a hybrid. Some people like to do live and then offer pre-recorded, then it's a lot of work and you don't want just a couple of people signing up. So that is that. All right. And by the way, I'm rolling through this with a lot of mind-blowing stuff, and everyone's going to get the recording for you to look back on. But I'm doing it like this because I also want to leave a little time at the end. All right. So we are generally right on track. Yeah, perfect. In fact, we got an extra minute that I'm so happy about, because what I'm about to get into is going to blow your mind. All right. So for the third act here, we're going to get into ChatGPT's GPTs. And I think they could have chosen a better name, but whatever. They call these GPTs. And so again, I talked about it briefly at the beginning. What's a GPT? Well, a GPT is an app that sits on top of ChatGPT, and it's incredibly cool. And it's incredibly easy to make. And so what I'm going to do is just show you, first of all, if you've got the paid version, you can create your own ChatGPT so easily by going into Explore and then creating a GPT. And these are actually all ones that I created. And I'm going to talk about them, a couple of them at least. This was my first one, Optimism Bot. And Optimism Bot, tell me your problems, be they large or small. Let's explore what's currently working around the world and how our shining future could unfold. And Optimism Bot was basically very simple. All I did was, if in here, once you create it, you can configure it. You can build it literally by talking to it, and ChatGPT will help you build something, or you can go into the configure tab and have a few more manual settings. But literally, there was the description I just read about. Here were the instructions, and here were the conversation starter. And basically the instructions say, hey, I want you to be positive. I want you to speak like a wise old mentor, ask people questions, and use real world examples of why things are actually working okay, and such. So I was like wanting to show how technology could be used in a really positive way. So Optimism Bot, I'm not going to go through all of these things. I'm happy to share this out in the link. But for example, you could share your emotional feelings and it can help you through some of that stuff. Can we think about solutions to big world problems? I used examples like homelessness or whatever. And what other problems are happening in your city, and it will give you examples of places where those problems maybe are being dealt with better. Tell me something inspiring to make me feel better. So we can click on that. It's a conversation starter, and it's going to give you something like, in that old mentor voice, consider the story of the ozone layer. In the late 20th century, science discovered that, and this is going to talk about how we actually did help out the ozone layer. So I'm going to actually just not let it do the whole thing, because I can send that to you with the future. It can also, I can send that to you with the link afterwards, but you can also get creative vision of the future, which is so cool. So talking to Optimism Bot. But on the left-hand side, you'll see a couple of other things that are really pretty cool. So I'll send this one to you too, because if you have kiddos, this might be a fun thing to do with them. If you've got the paid version of ChatGPT over the holiday, it's a kid story crafter that I found the basics of it, and then I put it into my own ChatGPT with instructions, and it actually guides people through the creation of a kid story. So how does it do that? It asks them, first of all, tell me a title for the story, and or create a title for the story. It gives some suggestions, or you could give your own. I said, just let's use number 3, Sir Fluffalot's Quest for the Rainbow Cupcake. Great choice. And then it says, all right, here's 4 imaginative settings to consider. And it gives me 4 settings. And I chose the floating isles of Fizzy Pop. I said, let's use 4. And then, great, that's what we're going to do. And then here are 4 creatively conceived characters to choose from: Sir Fluffalot, Princess Sparklenose, etc. And I said, do you want to, and it says, do you want to include any other characters? I said, those are great. Let's just use those. And it says, okay, great. Here's that, all of that confirmed. Let's come up with the plot. So I choose, what do I choose? The Great Cupcake Heist. And then wonderful, let's think about the moral of the story. And again, you can always put your own, but it's just leading you on. This is like a really fun thing to lead a kid through the creation of, great, here's the confirmation of all the things that we've chosen. And now this is the sort of pages of the story. All right, cool. This outline sounds good. Let's do it. Let's proceed. And it literally will begin to create the images for each one of the stories. So you can actually then really get creative. You could take this out, you could put some text in it, and before you know it, you've got your own little storybook. So that's just a fun example of one of these GPTs. I wanted to just show you how versatile they are, okay? All right, now I'm gonna get a little bit more complex. Let me just make sure that, oh yeah, I wanna show you this one first, because this one's gonna blow your mind. It's called, nope, nope. What's this one? Hold on. Okay, that's another one. I'm going to pull up this one. It's called Logo GPT. Great. Put it over here so I stay in order. Okay, everybody, get ready to have your mind blown. Who's got a funny idea for a logo? Anyone want to throw me kind of something? It could be like a plant bot, or like angel cupcake, or whatever, something fun. Anyone got a fun idea to so I could use? Otherwise, I can choose something too. All right, I am going to then choose something, unless anybody, last chance. Okay, cool. So I am going to say I want to create a logo for my new company, and we're going to call it Angel Cakes. And let's say, great, it's going to say, okay, awesome. Now, give it a little bit of time. I might have to reload. Hopefully it's working, because OpenAI had just went through a recent crazy whole, I don't know, a big drama, and a lot of the company got a little disrupted. Everything seems to be resolved now, but for a couple of days, things were going slowly. So, all right, so it's going to actually ask first, upload a sketch. And I'm going to say, I don't have a sketch right now. I don't have a sketch. Let's see. Hopefully it's going to say, all right, no problem. Here's some styles to work with. So here's what I can say, and this is a place where you could really start to explore in fun ways. Let's just try minimalistic. I'm going to say, let's go with number 1. Okay. And excellent choice. Next, would you like to include the business name in the logo? Sorry about the people upstairs, if you can hear that. And what colors do you want? I'm going to say, I want to include the name. Great. And do I prefer colors? I want it to be red. Actually, I want it to be light blue. And let's put it on a white background. All right. So that's actually, you know what? I'm going to want to do something again here, because I gave it no input as to what I wanted. And I got a little distracted there. I want it to have like at least sort of a halo above it. But let's see how good it actually is. Maybe it even looked at the word and it's going to produce something that I like. Hey, not bad. And I'm going to say, okay, that's cool. That's okay. No, I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to want it to be more like a mascot. I think that's going to be more fun and maybe make it like a little personal. Let's go with number 14. And as you can tell, this is going to be so awesome to explore with your time. Describe what kind of mascot. Okay. And I'm going to say, have it be an angel and a cupcake. Angel, smiling face, cupcake. Let's just see something like that. I want it to be colorful and on a white background and include the name Angel Cakes. All right, so let's see about that. Great. Now, while this is going, I'm just going to look at am I on schedule? All right, I do want to show one other thing in terms of these GPTs because I don't have to get too far into it, but it's really, really fascinating. And I think it's going to blow your mind a little bit. So, hey, there's angel cakes. Pretty amazing. And if any of you understand like where AI's come from in the last, 6 months, year, it had no ability to do text before, and this is relatively recent. And again, is this going to be perfect logo? No, but for a starting brand or for just a fun thing, this is a great starting point, right? And you could imagine we're just spend a few minutes. Imagine spending some real time on this, okay? And of course, you may want to hire an actual graphic designer to come in and play with things and like, why is this red down here? That doesn't look very good. But if you're sort of on a tight budget and you need something quickly, this is great. Last thing I wanted to show you in terms of GPTs in the power of them is really where we start to talk about creating these GPTs that are a little bit more involved rather than just simple instructions. Dougie Luxbot. So as you remember, my author alter ego, Dougie Lux, has 2 books. Well, I uploaded those books into his own GPT. And I said, this is going to be a clone of author Dougie Lux to share insights from his books. Ask him any question about intentional communities, communal property, or digital nomadism. And so I got that, all the instructions, how I wanted to answer. I wanted to speak in the first person. I only wanted to use stuff from his books, what the books are kind of like the basics. What are they about? How I want them to respond to people. I also want them to ask questions. Don't make up facts. And then only use the provided PDFs, which I attach both of my books to this GPT. And so now, if you think about it, this could be an accompaniment to my book. People could read the book and then have the chatbot accompaniment. So how cool is that? And that is just so much fun, like to do, and to play with. You can even I could even ask Dougie Luxbot, give me the summary of the bibliography, share a favorite quote from the book. It's going to take sometimes a second, especially at the beginning of a chat, to load all those manuscripts because it's about 500 pages of content and they haven't figured out how to like make that super fast. And let me just, while that's working, I want to just see what I'm going on to next. Okay, cool. So one of my favorite quotes is, people come together for reasons, seasons, or lifetimes. It takes a person to know when the reason has shown itself or the season's over, and it takes a strong person not to linger beyond that. So that's one of the quotes from The Motorcycle and the Molecule. All right, so I could even ask about what the psychology is of Dougie Lux. If I wanted to get really meta, I could get really into the analysis of the books, of the author, of the writing style. Again, I could even ask what this writing style is and use that as my tone or my custom instructions, which we showed earlier. Okay, so if that is of interest to you, I've got another course, especially for nonfiction writers and content creators. It's super fun. And everybody, by the way, I'll share links to these afterwards. Everybody's going to get a crazy Black Friday sale and all these things. But this is a 6-module course for literally how to have a book on Amazon in like under 30 days and less. I mean, you could do this even quicker if you really were doing more full time. But I was doing it part-time in evenings and I got my book online in 30 days. So that is that. I'll share that link later and a little more on it. Now I want to get into something moving right along called make.com. And so we're going to take a little bit of a break here because I just want to introduce this a little bit to you because I think this is really fascinating. And it is related to ChatGPT. I'm not going to get too far into this, but I wanted to show how cool this can be. All right. So as an example, I'm going to show you this content creation calendar right here. So when you go to this page, and this is called a lead magnet, all you have to do, this is going to be for a week content inspiration, is you would enter your email address here, say inspire me, and now it's going to take me to a Google form. All right, and so I just want to make sure how much time I have this. I got 10 minutes for this, so let's do it. All right, so I'm going to do a funny brand. Let's do angel cakes, okay? So I'm going to enter my email again, and this is going to give me a 1 week content inspiration calendar, and then I'm going to show you how that's related to make.com and how that's related to ChatGPT. All right, so we're going to say Douglas is my name. What's my cell phone number? I'm going to just say like that. What's the name? We're going to use angel cakes, okay? What's the theme for this week? It's going to be Thanksgiving. Describe the tone of voice, and we're going to say silly and mischievous. And you could get really obviously detailed in here. You could even copy and paste the tone that you developed in here for your brand or yourself. Who's the target audience? Young kids who love colorful, sugary baked goods. All right, desire, what do they want more of? They want to have more fun, kid-friendly, baked goods. And what's the problem? I'm gonna say most baked goods are really boring, really basic and boring. Okay, solution, Angel Cakes makes custom baked goods. Each of our heavenly items is inspired by a fun kids movie character, say. So that's pretty fun. Authority, and we can say we've been producing delicious baked goods in our family bakery for over 100 years, okay? Okay, so, and then the content outline. Okay, so check this out. This is where you can actually get pretty creative, and this is really kind of something that's amazing with using AI with this. You can say something simple like 1 Instagram post per day and a story per day, 3 Instagram reels per week, or I can literally paste in my entire content schedule. And so why don't we just go ahead and paste that in? I could actually go in there and get all detailed. All right, and now I'm going to press submit. Now, this is where the magic comes in, and this is where I wanted to just show you how powerful this platform, make.com, is. And I built this custom, but it's so cool. And I'm going to walk you through this now. Now, make.com is basically like a Zapier on steroids, okay? And it takes you all the way from waiting for when that form is filled out. It then looks at the Google Sheet where that form response went. It adds the person to a newsletter. It adds them also to a text message so that they can get a link to their document when it's finished being processed by the AI. And so they either get it by email or they get it by their text message. They click on it, but before they do, it goes through this AI process, which basically takes that all of those responses and runs it through ChatGPT. Okay, and it's actually going to create then a Google document for them that is emailed, and then the link is sent through SMS. And so now I can see if let's see if it came to me yet. Sometimes it takes a little second to process, but if I go like this, it's going to say, congratulations, Douglas. Your 1 week content inspiration calendar for Angel Cakes is ready. Let's take a look. And so it says, hey, thanks for trying out my new content inspiration generator. You can take these responses and bring them into ChatGPT and expand on them. You guys saw a little bit how we can do that. And if you'd like to submit another response, you can. But you can obviously do a lot of this now in ChatGPT, and I'll show you even at the bottom of the document. It makes it easy. And then I say, if you want to go more deeply with any of this, you can email me. And look at this, everybody. It's every day of the week. You've got content ideas. Instagram story. Get a sneak peek of our Thanksgiving treat prep. come check out our mischievous Tom Turkey cupcakes, image colorful cupcakes with turkey character toppings. Angel Cake Treats, fun baked goods, hashtag LinkedIn post. For 100 years at Angel Cakes, we believe that baking should be as fun, vibrant, engaging, just as kids love it. This week, we're making Tom Turkey inspired cupcakes. So that's all Tom Turkey. So let's see if I think that it got pretty crazy with always jumping into this Tom Turkey thing. So that's where you actually could now tweak this and say like, okay, thanks. There's a bunch of good text here, but the sort of Thanksgiving theme really took over this, and you'd want to edit it. But at least this gives you a lot of ideas for things like stories. Show us how you're enjoying the cupcakes at home. Double the fun with Angel Cakes this Thanksgiving, right? So it gives you ideas for all that stuff. Here was your original responses and prompts, but then you can take everything below and put it back into ChatGPT. So say I wanted to remove that Thanksgiving thing, I could go back into ChatGPT, start a new one, paste it all in here, say, I'm just going to remove a week's theme completely, and let's see what happens, because now it's going to hopefully get a little bit more creative. All right, so I'd love for it to actually use actual movie examples. And it's not, and I don't know if that's because it's a like a trademark thing. That'd be interesting. But let's take a look to see one more little test here. If we did that and said, use the following tone and the relevant theme, if there's a theme. And I'm going to say use actual, this might work or this might not. Use actual real movie characters in your posts, in your content outline, or in the I guess it would be in the calendar. Let's see. And then we just remember we press this little green button. All right. Let's see if it actually can pull things out. That would be super fun. Here's the outline. Well, what is tomorrow's character? So let's find out if it actually has, and this may be a little bit asking too much. Yeah, it's funny. It's just not, it's not doing it. So I wonder if that's just because it's being instructed to not. I'm really curious about that. And I wonder if I put something else like most each of the heavenly items is inspired by a fun kids movie character. So I would like to say I would have to probably experiment with this a little bit more, but I'm curious to know if that's because it can't suggest copyrighted characters. Um, you know, I would love if it was just, how about if it was just fun animal characters? Animal characters. All right. And maybe you could put here such as giraffes. Maybe that would be the place. Monkeys, and that would be the better place to edit that. And other zoo creatures. Okay. So as you can see, sometimes it takes a little bit of massaging. Hopefully it pulls up some fun things for cupcake ideas here. We've done a lot of work on this. I mean, not really, but okay. So it always likes to give a little introduction. So it's still not giving a humorous tweet showing a draft theme cake with the caption. So it might just be that. It might have been like, it's not gonna, this is monkey. Maybe it's just gonna only produce the animals that you use. Maybe that's like you just need to upload all your different products. And that's probably the better way to do it, is rather than getting it to suggest things that you might not even offer. When you do this, make sure to put all of the things that you offer, all your products, all your services. Okay, so that was the make.com, and I want to leave enough time for questions. So as we wrap up, first of all, I will certainly send you all the links that we've covered today in a follow-up email. I do have these courses also available. And what I'm going to do is basically everything today that I offer is all these courses are $249, but with this Black Friday code, I'm gonna make everything half off for courses. And then not with Black Friday code. I have to send another code separately for the coaching. I can't do half off my coaching. It's a little bit too much, but I can do 20% off my coaching. Um, and and then I'll send that link out afterwards. And I think that brings us to, yeah, we did all of that. And I think I'm going to stop sharing my screen now so we have enough time to go over some questions. So, does anybody have any questions or want to see anything more clearly? Um, Feel free to raise your hand. Yeah, unmute yourself, Philip. You're first.
Yeah, no, I just want clarification on what the GPT is. You did a build a story GPT. What did you do versus what does it automatically do?
Oh, great
How do you
question.
do that?
Yeah. So basically, ChatGPT is the product of OpenAI. A lot of us are familiar with how it's used. And I'm glad you asked that question because there's something I'm working on that I haven't quite finished, but so I'm not quite ready to share, but I'm going to share. You guys are going to get a preview of it. Okay, let's go back over there for a second. Okay, so in ChatGPT, your basic ChatGPT looks like this. It's a blank canvas. Anything you do here has to start from scratch. Okay. So if you want to train it on your tone, you'd have to do a little bit of that tone work that we did today. If you wanted to make it be a advisor, you'd have to tell it to be an advisor. If you wanted to analyze your books or your PDFs, you'd have to upload those books or PDFs. If you wanted to create a story, you'd have to prompt it with all of those things that kids Storybot or Storycrafter did automatically, right? Okay, so how does it do that? GPTs, which are these apps that sit on top of GPT, each come with their own way of training them with a set of instructions. And so at any point, you can go in and you can create your own. If you've got the paid plan, you can create your own literally by scratch. It will even create the logo for you. For example, in this one, I uploaded an Excel spreadsheet with the prompt, hey, this GPT is designed to assist users in learning Spanish vocabulary by utilizing Excel spreadsheets. So I was learning Spanish with a friend, and I basically gave it a few more instructions, quiz me on my Spanish, and then I uploaded a spreadsheet. And then these conversation starters, quiz me on my Spanish vocabulary, translate this English word to Spanish. What's the Spanish equivalent of this word or whatever? So that's one example, right? So that's an example uploading a spreadsheet. You saw an example of me uploading my PDFs into Dougie Luxbot, this GPT. And so this is a LinkedIn guru with more instructions. And then the kid's story crafter has a bunch more instructions to ask it and to come up with ideas. So it's a
So
little,
Doug,
yeah.
Doug, so what is the blank slate? If you did that first one, create a GPT,
Yeah.
what do you see?
Yeah. So it looks like this. Um, and I could say like, I want to build a, a bot that creates, or a GPT that creates posts for LinkedIn using the following tone. This is such a simple example. Silly and mischievous. I think I used that before. Let's see if this even works. Um, and okay, so I'm going to say great. And then it might ask me a few more questions. Let's see. In this process, it'll also even create a little logo often. And while this is doing its thing, I'll say that I'm currently working on a GPT for brands. So this is a lot of this stuff we're seeing is relatively simple. Well, imagine if you had a GPT that knows your brand perfectly, knows your tone, knows your target audience, knows your products and services, knows all your website copy, knows all your team members, knows everything about your company, and it can be used internally to produce content. I'm going to say, yep, yes, that sounds great. And now it's going to do its next little thing. It's going to actually generate a profile picture right here. And we're going to see if this works. I usually take more time to build these out, but if we could do this, that quickly. All right, so there it is. It's a little LinkedIn thing. I like it. So I'm gonna say I like that. And now it's gonna put it as the okay, so what's the context? It's gonna ask me some more questions. And what types of content or topics should it focus on when creating LinkedIn posts? I'm gonna say I will offer the topic. I want you to write a short 100-word post and include hashtags and an image, AI image prompt suggestion. So let's see about this. And so this is basically the voice way of training it. If you were in the configure more advanced tab, you could actually go in there and customize this more specifically. But we're going to just do this basic thing, and then hopefully it's going to see. Great. Feel free to try it in the playground. Okay, so it's updating now, and say, write me a post about where elephants come from. So what it should have now, if it works correctly, and sometimes this takes back and forth, is it should have the post, it should have the hashtags, and it should have the tone. So is this fun and silly? Yeah, this has got, but wait, there's more. There's a little bit of silliness to it. So you could go in there and play with the tone. It's got the hashtags. And then for the AI image, there it is, right? So what's the power of this? The power is, and now I can say a couple of things. I can save it as private, only to me, only people with the link, so I could share it, or make it public. I'm going to say, only to me for now, because I want to do some more work on it. But here's the power of all of that. Now, it should, when I reload this page, it should appear in my little, it should appear here, but maybe actually, because I haven't used it yet, I would need to come over here and say, where is it? The mischief marketer. Okay. So now here it is. And it sits right here. Okay. Why is that cool? It's cool because instead of having to do that training every time, you just created literally in 5 minutes. We just created a little app that if you are just doing LinkedIn posts in a fun, mischievous way about, with the other few variables that we got, you are ready to go. So you can imagine if this is fleshed out in a way for brands or product, like with lots of products and services, you can create an amazing assistant. So that was the real quick GPT. And I know we've come to 4 o'clock. I'm happy to stick around for another little bit of time if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, this has been so much fun, and I know I've did a lot. This is going to be a weekly call. So, and next week I may touch on a couple of these things again, or I might I'll probably do some good new stuff because there's a whole bunch of things that I want to share that I didn't cover today. I think that the same link is just going to work to register y'all for next week. So, or to log in. So you're all welcome. And so on that note, is there any, I'm going to give it a final round. Otherwise, if there's no more questions, I'm going to sign off. Look out for an email. I'm going to send you an email with the links. I'm going to send you an email with my Black Friday code in case you or any friends or family are interested in course creation, book writing, or content creation. And then also I'll send you a few of those fun GPTs and other things that we played around with, maybe even the 1-week content calendar creator. So thanks again. This has been a wild ride. I'm sorry about the little noise interstitial in the meantime, but that was in the middle, but that was what happens when the whole family's home for the holidays. So on that note, happy holidays, everybody. I hope you have some warm and cozy plans with the family. And if you're in a warm place, well, then lucky you. And take it easy. Bye.